Instant REAX podcast for week number 3. It's a full boat. We got everybody here. We got Mitch Stormer. We got Brian Stocking. We got Corey Kuffler, Matt Randazzo, Greg Armstrong. I'm here with you. Here we go, boys. Mitch, you've been manning the Twitter. You've been manning the X all night. What stands out to you?
Yeah, we had some good games tonight. We talked about in our preview that we thought that some of these matchups today were going to kind of set the tone for several different divisions, certainly in the Western Big Six with the matchup between Geneseo and Moline, in the track with Morrison and Orion, big games in the LLC and then in the NUIC as well. So, yeah, another action-packed Friday night here.
All right, Stock, let's start in the Western Big Six. Let's go through the scores.
Geneseo and Moline. The game gets Moline trail most of the night. They tie it at 21 all in the fourth quarter. Geneseo kicks a field goal with like 32 seconds to go to win it 24-21. United Township, game effort, but they fall short against Sterling 23-19. On the opening play of the game, Sterling, there was a bad snap. Sterling recovered it for a touchdown, and that was the difference. Quincy defeats Rock Island 41-7. And Galesburg versus Indian Creek, Trafalgar. It's all the battle of Trafalgar tomorrow.
There you go. All right, who is at Moline Geneseo for the for WQAD tonight?
Who do you think was at Moline Geneseo?
the Moline, the Maroon himself, Corey Kuffler. Give us the rundown on this one.
Geneseo jumped out to an early 7-0 lead. Jaron Nelson, I believe is his name. Is that right? Jaron Nelson?
Jaron Neal?
Neal, yes, I'm sorry. 41-yard touchdown, got them on the board first. Moline answered on their first possession and scored. So it was kind of back and forth first quarter. Geneseo took a 14-13 lead into the half. And then the teams each had a touchdown in the second half. Geneseo extended their lead early, 21-13. Moline scored in the fourth with a 2-point conversion add-on to tie it at 21. One thing that really impressed me about this game was Geneseo's toughness up front, their size up front, and the way they controlled the line of scrimmage. They did a really good job of whenever they needed a big run play, they would run a counter or some kind of trap play, either Steins, and then Neal would have good runs. A.J. Weller can throw the ball a little bit. They didn't throw too much, but when he needed to, he threw it and then did a great job running. Another thing that impressed me was Geneseo had a chance to take the lead late in the game, maybe about 2 minutes to go in the game. Bad snap on a field goal attempt, turnover on downs. Moline drives down, gets it to about the 30-yard line or so, and then throw an interception. Geneseo then capitalizes, runs the clock down to 32 seconds, kicks the field goal with Braden Combs, and they win. First time that Geneseo has beaten Moline in the Western since they've been in the Western Big Six, and I believe it ended Moline's 15-game Western Big Six streak. So big win for Geneseo, and Coach Larry Johnson said afterwards, he's like, "Hey, it wasn't pretty, a lot of things to clean up, but a win's a win."
Hey, in the Big Six, if you're getting a win at Moline, that's a good win, no matter how you look at it. Mitch, did you get to watch any of this one on a live stream or anything?
Yeah, I watched a bit of it. The connection got bad in the second half, so I turned on to the audio with Grant Dahlstrom on this one. So yeah, from what I saw, it went the same way that Cuff explained it. Two really tough teams that there weren't a whole lot of big plays, but the ones that were made a difference. Like Cuff mentioned, Neal's 41-yard touchdown in the first quarter. But that interception late was big because it really put Geneseo in good field position. They converted, or no, I think they got to a 4th and 1, and I think it was pretty close, and they took a timeout to talk about it, and they ended up sending up the field goal unit out there, and Braden Combs drilled it. So, yeah, a great game all the way down to the wire.
Well, here's the thing with Geneseo. This is their 5th season in the Western Big Six. Geneseo is 3-0 in conference road openers, and they're 0-2 in conference home openers. So opening on the road agrees with them.
Can we figure out why Brian Stocking is recording this podcast from a locked and closed suitcase? Like, oh my gosh.
I'm in the sports office, man. Come on.
We can barely see his face.
That's a good thing from what I've heard.
He's
Hey,
coming.
I was surprised. If you're Geneseo, and I don't think they played good, but I don't know. Like they talked about, leaving some out there to go beat Moline on the road and still have things they can do better. I think is the thing I take out of this the most, because I saw Quincy for the first time in person tonight. We'll talk about them in a second, but they're really, really good. Really good. And so like I look at this game saying, who's that team that can challenge them? I think Geneseo can, because I don't think they played their best football day. Now Cuff was there, but like it seems like there's some things they can clean up, some turnovers, all those kind of things that if they can get that right, I mean, it's a fun group, because it's that senior group that they've been kind of pointing towards for a while and stuff. So yeah, huge win. I don't know if it was an upset. I don't feel like it was an upset. I think that, anytime you beat Moline in the Western Big Six, it's been a while, all that kind of stuff. But, I'm not like shocked by the result by any stretch of the imagination. I thought it was going to be a good game. I thought Geneseo could win, and that's kind of what happened. So it kind of sets things up for them, maybe being that lead dog to challenge Quincy the rest of the way. Because, Sterling, while they did get a victory tonight, struggled a little bit early this season. So Geneseo is the most impressive team in the Western Big Six in my mind so far in 3 weeks, not named Quincy. So
yeah. Well, let's get right into Quincy. You were there at Almquist Field tonight for the Rocks hosting Quincy. Dazzo, I'll let you take it away. This is your first time getting your eyes on the Blue Devils this year, so
yeah. I mean, I was there for about a half, and the offense is what the offense is. Braden Little just controls things. I mean, he knows what he's doing with the football right away. It's a well-oiled machine on offense. I was impressed by their running game as well. Jarius Rice?
Jarius Rice. Yeah.
Jarius Rice was impressive as well. But I think we talk a lot about their offense, and rightfully so. But I remember doing the podcast to preview the Western Big Six, and Chuck kind of talked about the defense is going to be better. I remember talking with Coach Little at the Western Big Six banquet, and he kind of talked about the defense being better. Rocky hasn't been explosive this year by any stretch of the imagination, but the defense was really good. So they look the part. They're big, they're fast, they're talented. They got a 3-year starting quarterback that's only a junior. I was impressed. I mean, they are the team to beat the Western Big Six in my eyes. I'm not saying that nobody can beat them, but as of right now, through 3 weeks, and that's the best team right now in the Western Big Six until somebody either beats them or goes down to Quincy and beats them and all that kind of stuff. So, and on the flip side, Rock Island just, Coach Fritz talked a lot about discipline before the season, and it's going to get there, but they beat themselves a ton tonight. And I know it gets frustrating for Fritz, for their new head coach, because I think he's trying to instill some discipline that's not there yet. So that's what I mean, there was one play I think I was telling Corey about that they got a first down to get out of deep territory. They were already down maybe a score, maybe 2 scores, and they pick up the first down, and a lineman comes in kind of late and spears a guy and gets up dancing about it, costs his team 15 yards. Sideline gets mad. They throw a flag. It's another 15. And so just like it snowballed. And I think that's what I took out of Rock Island. I mean, the quarterback, Javion Clark Pugh, looks the part, has a really good arm. When he has time to throw the football, he does a really good job. But that's a work in progress right now at Rock Island. And next week will be interesting, because Rocky's offense hasn't been explosive yet, and their defense has been okay. And they take on Newman, which we'll talk about in a minute, whose defense is good. I don't know if Newman can score enough, but the Newman defense has been really good. They held Rock Ridge earlier in the year. I think Sherrard's offense is pretty good. They held them to 6 points last week, and 14 points for Princeton tonight. So that'll be an intriguing matchup. But yeah, Rock Island is just kind of that. The thing that I came out of Rock Island with is discipline is what Fritz has preached since getting there, and it's still not there yet. I think it'll get there. but it's not there yet. Quincy though, 2 thumbs up. They were impressive.
Did you send your highlights to Chris Dewar?
I did.
Nice.
I did.
Nice.
Yes. The first 15 points of the game, a couple touchdowns, an interception, bunch of good stuff. So I think he was very, very happy. And when you can make Chris Dewar happy, then all is right with the world.
I love every time I send video to him and I send him like a direct message like, hey, I got that, got that to you. And he always responds with, it's never the simple thank you. It's always like you are the greatest gentleman, sir. Like it's all, I love it.
You're the greatest human being in the history of the earth. And like,
I love it. When you need that little pick me up, need that little, that little nice compliment, Chris Dewar's there to give it to you. I love it.
Yeah. So it's Moline and Quincy next week, right?
Moline and Quincy. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. I'll shut up for a little bit.
Just so I think I'm going to Quincy on Tuesday. It's not related to football. It's for football. But I think I'm going to get in touch with Shuck and try to do Shuck on the truck.
Oh!
And an off the cuff all at the same time. So hopefully I can get that all worked out.
Man, off the cuff, Shuck in a truck. It's all the things. That is great
all
stuff.
All at the same time.
Great stuff. I love it.
You should do like an off the truck with Shuck and cuff.
We're going to record it all at the same time. So it'll be an off the cuff with Shuck on the truck.
Oh, man, that's good. The synergy. I love it. All right. So, okay. Moline and Quincy next week. And is it Rocky and Newman next week?
Rocky and Newman.
Yeah. You're right. Yep.
And Rocky is 0-3 for the first time since 1991. Wow.
Yep.
That's pre-Boblet.
Yep. All right, Stock. Let's go through. Actually, we'll hand off to Mitch. Mitch, give us the scores in the Three Rivers.
Wait a second. We haven't talked about Sterling UT yet.
You did talk about it. You did talk about it earlier.
I said one thing about it. UT showed a lot of moxie, a lot of pride in that game. They could have easily gone turtle up when they fell down 7-0. They came back, fought all the way. Late in the game, down 23-19. They get picked off in the red zone, and then Sterling was able to force UT to take timeouts, got a first down, was able to drain the clock. But a very strong effort from UT, showed a lot of pride, a lot of moxie out of them. And for Sterling, it was their first 0-3 start since 1985.
Okay, they avoided it.
Chuck Long was a senior at Iowa, and he was on the squad.
Yes. Quick side note. Chuck Long as the guest griller on WQAD on the Score tonight. When we have the guest grillers in, normally you get some brats or some burgers or something. No, Chuck Long was not messing around. He requested porterhouse steaks. Holy cow, boys! We were eating like kings tonight.
Yeah, I don't think we knew how to handle it. I mean, it was
good.
It was really good, and I had horsey sauce for the first time.
Horsey sauce?
Horsey sauce.
Horseradish.
I did not try it with the steak. I didn't know about that. Maybe I should have, but
well, you know me. I like to try new things and expand my horizons when it comes to food. Yeah. I'll try any vegetable or any fruit or anything.
It'll be a new segment come basketball time. Instead of stocking snacks, it'll be Randazzo's comments or something.
Gosh, I forgot about stocking stacks.
We don't need to do stocking stacks again.
All right.
Oh, we will.
So Sterling,
my stomach revolts.
Sterling gets the win. Where are they at next week?
Sterling is at home against Galesburg.
Okay. All right. When is Sterling Geneseo? Because I think that's the next
I think it's week 5.
Is it week 5 Princeton?
All right.
Hold on.
All right. Let peruse your archives or your notes.
Quincy and Geneseo is week 8. I know that.
It will be September 29th in Geneseo.
Okay.
What week is that?
Week 6.
Week 6. There we go. So everybody was wrong. All right. I think that's the big matchup. The next big matchup. And then who mentioned Quincy and Geneseo? that's obviously a huge matchup now. So still we're learning more about the Big Six, but still plenty to, uncover as the weeks go. So we'll see where we end up here. All right, now Mitch, give us some scores in the Three Rivers Conference.
All right, back to the Western Big Six real quick.
Okay, not yet. Okay, here we go.
Good to see Matthew Kelly back on the sideline for UT and playing. So good to see him back in action. All right, to the track. Bureau Valley 18-8 winners over Hall. Princeton got the shutout 20-0 over Newman. Kewanee shuts out an opponent for the second straight week, 41-0 over Mendota. Sherrard got their first win of the year, 24-15 over Warrensburg-Latham. Morrison, 40-14 winners in the Battle of the Unbeatens over Orion. Monmouth Roseville, the big win, 42-14 over Erie Prophetstown. And Rock Ridge, 61-14 over Riverdale.
I'm going to jump in real quick and say that Morrison is fast. You get what I did there? That's a joke. You get it? Jump in real quick. They're fast. We'll move along. But seriously, the speed of Morrison. Yeah, I mean, I saw it a little bit last year in the game I was at. You saw some flashes of things, but man, this year they're really on both sides of the ball, just so quick, and they're a tough team. They looked really good tonight. Back and forth early. Orion was doing a good job of kind of slowly moving the ball downfield. They weren't finding huge plays, but they were moving the ball a little bit. They did score and took a 7-6 lead. And then Morrison came back and scored. They got a fumble recovery and scored. They then got kind of a fluky, wasn't an onside kick, but it kind of fell between receivers, kind of in no man's land. And again, Morrison's speed hustling downfield, recovered the kick. They go down and score again before the half, and that was really kind of where the momentum swung to Morrison, and they never looked back. They looked really good in this one. Deshaun McQueen, they were calling him Lightning McQueen on the PA, and Cuff called it out during the broadcast tonight. Lightning McQueen looked really good. Brady Anderson had a huge breakaway run. Is it Sauce?
Strating?
Yeah, yep. Sauce Strating. Also played really well, and Chase Newman. I mean, just the names we've heard, but just really impressed with this Morrison team on both sides of the ball. And, after such a big win at Princeton, you had to wonder, make sure there's no letdown going up against another, 2-0 team. And there was certainly no letdown. This team was ready to go. They looked impressive. Mitch, did you catch any of this one on the live stream?
Yeah, they had it on their boosters were streaming it. It still didn't work on NFHS, but yeah, I caught a little bit of it, but had enough people there that were sending updates. But yeah, just like you said, if you give the ball to Brady Anderson on a sweep and he gets to the outside, he's gone. So
yeah,
he's had that speed now for 2 straight years. I mean, if you look forward to the spring, I think Morrison's going to be a contender at the track meet as a team, just with their relays and what they can do individually, but they've had that same speed on the football field. So yeah, looking at their schedule now, I mean, they've got Monmouth Roseville coming up in a couple of weeks. They've been looking stronger, and then you've got Rock Ridge, but I think the hardest part of Morrison's schedule is past them now, and it looks pretty good moving forward.
Yeah. Mitch, was your mom in the house?
Mom was in the house. They inducted the 06 team, which was the team after mine. So I would have played with them my senior year. That team went to the semifinals. So yeah, it was pomp and circumstance.
So you were their tutor.
What's that?
So you were their tutor.
I showed them what not to do. And it worked out great. As I said, they went to the semis. So yeah, it was a big night. A lot of people there in town. Obviously, the big game. So, but you were there. You witnessed it firsthand.
Yeah, it was great. So we mentioned all these names. The names that we've heard of with the speed, and then they had a kid. I didn't have a chance. I didn't have enough time to get his highlight in. This Alvarado.
He's a freshman.
Yeah, it's crazy. He's a freshman, and
so here's another track nugget. So he competed at, this was in 8th grade, so last year he competed at some track event in Illinois, but it wasn't sanctioned by the state, so the results didn't really count for anything. So he unofficially set, I think it was an Illinois record for his age group in the long jump, but it didn't count. And it was like it would qualify for state in high school. So yeah, he's an absurd athlete and just the next in line to be one of Morson's speedsters.
Man, they are loaded with talent right now, and they're going to be around for a couple years. I don't really see them going anywhere. So,
if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Vandermeide part of that 06 team? Is that right?
Yep, that's right.
Yep.
Morson's 3-0 for the first time since 2019.
There you go. There's the good stuff, Stock. Good win.
That's 4 years. That's not that long.
He had a stat from the 90s earlier. Give him a break. All right, Bureau Valley gets the nice win over Hall, like we said. Good win for Coach Pistol in the Storm.
Cameron Lemons.
What's
Cameron
that?
Lemons. Cameron Lemons for Bureau Valley. 107 yards rushing and a touchdown tonight for Bureau Valley. So Bureau Valley finding other people besides just Elijah Andrus and Bryce Helms to carry the rock. But Bureau Valley's 2-1. They have a possibility of possibly making the playoffs. Next week, they host Kewanee. That's going to be a big game. And then the week after that for Bureau Valley, they host Mendota. Bureau Valley could be 3-2 after 5 weeks.
Yeah. Speaking of Kewanee, though, they are rolling right now. They get the huge win over Mendota. Mendota's struggling this year, but either way, Kewanee pitches a shutout for the second week in a row, 41-0. I saw him last week, was really impressed. Obviously, they continued to get that job done. Congratulations. What's that?
They're 12-1 in their last 13 home games.
Wow, there you go. See, there you go, Dazzle. That's a better stat, right?
That's a good stat.
There you go. Congrats to Coach Johnston and the Sherrard Tigers. They get the win over Warrensburg Latham, 24-15. So this is a Sherrard team that's been close, and they finally got over that hump and got the win in this one. What do they got coming down the line here?
Sherrard hosts Rock Ridge next week, a backyard rivalry, and then they're at Riverdale. And, you look at Sherrard, tonight they showed some poise. They were down early, and teams have been down and struggle. They get down early, and, they sort of repeats itself. But they came back and won that game in the fourth quarter. So big things going on in Sherrard. And, maybe they can get on a run, pull an upset or something. They could get some momentum.
Yeah, this is a team that we, talked up in the preseason because they do have a lot of talent there. So we'll see what they can.
They have not yet played a conference game.
There you go.
If they can maybe go 6-0 or 5-1 in maybe go 5-1 in conference, maybe get that automatic bid. Then they don't have to worry about, then they're in the playoffs.
Monmouth Roseville, they moved to 2-1, right? They get the win.
Yep.
Over Erie Prophetstown. Rock Ridge gets the huge win over Riverdale.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry to your Rams, Stock.
Rock Ridge set the series record for most points with 61. This is the 5th time they've scored 50 points or more in the series. And starting things off for Rock Ridge, Cullen Schwagen ran for 2 touchdowns and 2 TD pass in the first quarter alone. And it was Katie bar the door real quick. They scored on the first play of the game.
Yeah, and Schwagen's a freshman. So
is he a true freshman, Dazzo?
Yeah, I think that's. I don't think he's burned his red shirt year yet.
Yeah,
but,
okay.
And good. I mean, because he struggled his first game, but he's a freshman, and so it's good to get a guy, get a young man in who's going to be really, really good, and kind of get some confidence, get his feet underneath him a little bit. Because it's a talented Rock Ridge team. And so you want to get him caught up as quickly as possible and rolling as quickly as possible because there's a lot of pieces that are really nice and really good on that team in the backfield. And then Wheatley's playing wide receiver nowadays. I don't know if he played last year. I think he did. But yeah, and Landon Bull, and there's a lot of talent on that Rock Ridge team. And you mentioned Sherrard next week. It'll be a fun game. Sherrard impressed me week 1 when I was out there. They lost to Kewanee, but you look at Sherrard right now, and Kewanee's 3-0. They lost to them. Newman's 2-1. So their 2 losses are against teams with a 5-1 record. So while they're just 1-2 on the season, I think they can move the football and score it a little bit. So that'll be a fun game next week. I'm not calling for an upset of Rock Ridge or anything like that, but it should be a lot of fun, and there's no love lost when those 2 schools hook up in anything, more or less football. So that'll be fun.
All right, are we ready to move into the LLC?
Let me say one thing.
Yes.
2 points. One, who would have thought that 3 weeks into the season that Kewanee would have more points scored and less points allowed in both categories than Princeton would? And looking ahead to that game in week 6, I think Kewanee's going to be undefeated, and Princeton could very well be 5-1, and that will determine the Mississippi, I think.
Wow, how about that? Yeah.
And the huge rivalry game, regardless. I mean, those teams could be 0-5, and it's going to be a big game. So for those 2 to hook up with a lot on the line will be a lot of fun. Yeah, I saw them week 1, Mitch, against Girard, and they're big. They're just up front. They ran the football well. I only saw them for a quarter, and then I had to get going. But the short snapshot I saw of Kewanee, I was impressed with. So we'll see if they can keep rolling.
All right, Stock, you want to give us some LLC?
Yeah, we got a few games that I did not find finals for.
Oh,
what?
I've got them.
Oh,
I went Brimfield.
Hey, then how about this? Hold on.
Please let me do the scores for a moment here.
No, hold on.
You do the ones that you know, Stocking, and I'll step up for you.
Okay, I'll tell you which one. I'll tell you the 2 I don't have.
We can't hear you.
Farmington at Tuscola.
What was okay? Farmington.
I muted him.
Oh, that was awesome. Hey, Mitch, do all of. I was wondering. There's no way he muted himself. Mitch, why don't you do all of them for 2 reasons? One, you have all of them, and you also don't sound like you're underwater. Look at him yell. Can I get this mute button in like the sports office?
All right, Stock.
Talking and nobody can hear him.
Mercer County beat LVC 47-0. Macomb beat Illini West 38-12. South Fulton beat Havana 28-6. Anawan Weathersfield beat Rushville Industry 29-20. Starr County blanks A-Town 35-0. Rowan Williamsfield beats United 38-18. Knoxville beats Princeville 41-8. And to Stormer, who has West Hancock and Tuscola.
Yeah, Elmwood Brimfield won 24-14 over West Hancock, and the Farmington Tuscola game had over 1,000 yards of total offense. It was Farmington 53, Tuscola 34.
Thank you to both of you. Real group effort there. Stock, we did ask Mitch to do the scores. You're not being a very good listener.
You told me to do them, and then you muted me.
All right, Stock, I need you just gave me, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine being like a student in your class. You just gave me a look like I'm going to get a detention here. I'm getting sent to the principal's office.
You can give Greg a referral if you want to.
He hands them out like candy all week, so it doesn't matter.
Stocking, what did that student tell you in the hallway? Or is that not appropriate for the pod?
Probably can't say
it's
that.
Not appropriate for the pod.
Okay. Family friendly. Stock, what are your takeaways from the LLC here?
Well, as long as I don't get muted, Stark County is 3-0 for the first time since 2015. They're 2-0 at home for the first time since 2017. Also, Mercer County, Tan and Whitehall ran for 3 touchdowns in the first quarter, 4 touchdowns total. Merco led 47-0 at the half, and then just cruised from there. Rova Williamsfield, 3rd year of a program, first time their 3-0 start in the program's history. And United, who they beat, was looking for their first 3-0 start since 2015. Merco the last time they won back-to-back road games in consecutive weeks, 2018. And Knoxville won their third straight third straight 3-0 starts.
Yeah, I congrats to Jade Nord and the Stark County Rebels. They're back. They're playing really well right now. 3-0, looking really good. That Rova Williamsfield team, we were high on them coming in. Oh, actually, I did get a text from their head coach, Grant Goldstrand, and who is responsible for calling them Rova Williamsburg?
Me. No, I don't. Williamsburg, I don't know. But I got called out twice tonight on Twitter because I always just say Rova and not Rova Williamsfield. So I didn't say Williamsburg. I don't know where that came from, but I always say Rova, and I got called out again tonight, as I did last year.
No, on the score tonight, the
no.
final
on the score.
On the score, the final the bottom line of the final score read Rova Williamsburg.
She's not here, so I don't want to completely throw Camille underneath the bus.
Oh,
that was 100. But that was 100% Camille Gear's fault.
but you're not throwing her under the bus.
No, but it was entirely her fault.
Not naming names, but it was.
But and I don't want to
under the
I
bus.
don't want to. I don't want to make. I don't want to cause any problems for her. But her email is camille.gear@wqad.com. Her Twitter handle is Camille Gear TV or X.
And her phone number. No.
And her phone number is, darn it, Camille, we had a perfect show. And then she ruined. Well, we're sorry, Coach. We're going to make, but we'll do better next time. I promise you.
Ollie Danner threw for 3 touchdown passes tonight.
There you go. Yeah.
For the Cougars.
Mm-hmm.
And next week, the Cougars will be
at Princeville.
And then in week 5, where they could clinch a playoff berth, clinch a possible playoff berth, they host South Fulton. Rova Williamsfield is very good.
Yeah, I think when we looked at the preview for this week, Greg, I think we said that the week 6 matchup between Rova and Stark County will probably be 2 unbeaten teams.
Yeah. Yep. Mitch, what games did you follow along with in the LLC here? I think
the Rova Williamsfield game did have a feed. There was no commentary, and so I didn't know what the score was for the longest time. So finally they panned over to the scoreboard, but that was the only one that I saw that was on that had a feed going. But the scores were coming in, but we don't have a whole lot of highlights or any mini stats for these games as usual.
I saw Rushville Industry played pretty well tonight. They hung around with Anawan Wethersfield. I believe that was on the road. Was that at Rushville?
That was at Rushville, yes.
Yeah. So pretty good effort from them, but Anawan Wethersfield holds them off. They come away with the win there. A nice bounce back for the Titans.
United only trailed 17-12 into the second half against Rova Williamsfield, I believe. It was 17-12 at least in the second, and then went to third. Next time I saw it was 31-12 third quarter. So I don't know how those 14 points got there, whether they were second quarter, third quarter scores. But United kept it close for a while. But Rova Williamsfield and that's a road win, a very good road win at a good United team. So more good things for Rova Williamsfield. And Stark County, they played A-Town. A-Town was tough. It was 7-0 deep into the second half. Deep in the second quarter. And then the Rebels really hit the accelerator and won at 35-0.
It was Katie bar the door after that.
We already had Katie bar the door, so she's busy tonight. She barred that door too.
What?
All right. We moving into the.
I love when Stock says something and Greg just chuckles.
Stock got really excited about that. I love it. I love the enthusiasm.
Yeah.
All right. Who's gonna read NUIC scores? I'm gonna let Mitch and Stock you fight it out. Not all at once.
Okay. I'll do it. Yeah. Lena Winslow beats.
No. Mitch called it. Mitch called it.
Mitch gets to do it.
Go ahead, Mitch.
All right.
You have the floor.
All right. Aurora Central Catholic beats West Carroll 42-20. Dupec, big win over Dakota 47-0. Fulton, close win over EPC 14-6. Lee Wynn doing what Lee Wynn does, 48-20 on the road against Stockton. And Forston, a 30-16 winner over Galena.
What did you follow along with in this group of games in the NUIC?
Probably the Fulton game more than anything, just because it was close. And it came down to the wire. EPC was driving, and Fulton forced a fumble. They recovered it in their own territory. I think it was on their own 30 maybe, and that was with under 2 minutes left. So that kind of sealed the deal. But yeah, Forreston and Galena, we expected that to be a good game, but I think we also expected Forreston to win, which is what happened. So yeah, I don't think anything nothing surprises me tonight with these results. So need to look ahead and see what is coming up next week. But so far, Lewin just keeps on rolling, and Dupec's going to be right there. So whenever they play, and Forreston too. So there's still a couple teams left, kind of battling for that title or battling for second.
Well, I was Dupec and Lewin meet as
week 6.
I see. My page. They will meet September 29th at Dupec.
Week 6.
And for Dupec, they played Dakota tonight. They shut them out. It's the third, all 3 meetings that they've had at home, they've shut Dakota out.
That was the score that kind of stood out to me, because Dakota played Forreston tough last week. And then this week, Dupec really did some damage. Yeah. So that score kind of stood out to me. Obviously we know Lena Winslow. I mean, that doesn't surprise us anymore. Forreston and Galena 30-16. Galena's been playing tough. Galena's been playing well this season, but this Forreston team, they're finding a way to win games. They're not blowing teams out necessarily. The game against Fulton in week 1 was close. This game was close. So, I guess it ended up being a couple scores, but either way, this Forreston team is finding ways to win. And Mitch, how about you said you followed along with Fulton and EPC. Man, this EPC team, we thought that they'd find some wins this season. Now they're staring at 0-3. They are 0-3.
Yeah, and not an easy road ahead of them either, because now they've got Forreston at Forreston next week. So yeah, they certainly looked the part playing tough against Fulton, but yeah, it's not certainly not where they want to be to kick off the year. No.
Yep.
It was nice. It was nice to see Fulton get their first win, though. They've had first 2 weeks playing the number 1, number 2 team in the state. Pretty good team. They may run the schedule here and finish 7-2 or at least 6-3 this year. So good to see them get the first win.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how their season plays out, because right now they're 0-2 and they're still state ranked, I think they were state ranked, sitting at 0-2. So
they were, yes.
So people are recognizing kind of the schedule they went through. I think they will find their way. They will continue to pile up wins and stay in the top 10, because I do think they're one of the better teams, and they have to prove it now, but this is a good start, to get the job done here. So, all right.
Late in the season, Fulton plays Knoxville at Knoxville. That could very well be a game for Fulton where Fulton may need that for a playoff win. I mean, to get in the playoffs. So that's going to be a very interesting and intriguing game late in the season, in a different way than we probably thought at the beginning of the season, when we probably would have said, well, the winner's probably going to help them get home field in that first round.
Yeah, that's a great non-conference game. I love it. So, all right. Are we wrapping up with some 8-man here?
Well, first, let's talk a little Chicagoland Prairie.
Okay.
Elmwood Park scores 14 points, the final 14 points of the game, but they're already trailing the Crew 49-0. Ottawa Marquette with a big 49-14 win over Elmwood Park on the road, and Dixon beats Rock Falls 40-0.
So I was getting text updates for my Marquette Crusaders. They moved to 2-1, like Stocking said. They get the win tonight against Elmwood Park. You ready for this? Here's the enrollments. Elmwood Park, 971 enrollment. Marquette, 154. Unbelievable. Like, I've never seen an enrollment disparity that big in a game. Crazy.
What's the Rock Island Newman disparity?
Ooh, that's a good question. We can look that up real quick.
Look it up, Stockpile. Go.
I got it. That will be
1,300.
Yeah, Rock Island's enrollment in 2023 was 1,686. Newman's was 210.
Wow.
Wow.
So there you go.
Yep. 1,300. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's as big as.
When I did the Newman preview, I think is it Carter? Not Carter Rude. Is it Carter Rude?
Carter Rude.
Yeah. He said it doesn't matter. Everybody's bigger than us anyway. It doesn't matter who we play.
They just going back to it. They played Princeton tough. They forced 4 Princeton fumbles tonight. So their defense is the real deal. They got to find that consistency on offense. But I think they'll be competitive against Rock Island for sure. Well,
and the thing to remember, looking ahead come playoff time, assuming, if Newman finds their way into the playoffs, they're a 1A school this year. So that I think bodes well for that team. I think that, so this is something interesting to follow along with. All right. Is it time for 8-man and then wrapping this party up?
Yep.
All right, Stock. You could give us 8-man scores.
On Thursday night, Peoria Heights beat West Central 54-38. The Heat are 0-3. Bushnell Prairie City defeats Galva 57-7. In a shootout, River Ridge beats Orangeville 43-40. Ridgewood defeats Unity Christian 40-16. The Spartans are 3-0. And Milledgeville in the annual backyard rivalry, I think it's the backyard brawl, blacktop brawl, or the brawl on 17.
Battle of the Blacktop or something, Mitch? What is that one?
I'm not sure what it is.
Milledgeville beats Polo 58-22. Huge game for Connor Nye and also for Micah Toms Smith. Nye threw 3 touchdown passes, 2 in the first half. He also ran for TD in the first half. Tom Smith, 2 TD runs and a TD reception as the missiles roar past Polo.
How do missiles roar? What's the noise they make?
Very loud.
Yes, true. Yes. No, the good win for Milledgeville. 2, I believe they're ranked 2 and 3 in the state, according to Kyle Kampmeyer in the NUIC poll. And so this is kind of one of those statement wins for Milledgeville. That'll go a long way, in their season, I think. And then Amboy, do we say an Amboy score?
They play tomorrow.
Amboy plays tomorrow at Martinsville. AFC's at Pawnee tomorrow, as is West Prairie at Rockford Christian Light.
Yeah. So Amboy's looked really good. I think tomorrow will be their first test on the road. A Martinsville team, I believe, was a playoff team a year ago. So, but again, they've looked really good. Amboy has. So, all right. Cuff, final thoughts?
Forward to that Geneseo Quincy matchup, I think.
Cuff, you're a little quiet, so I don't know if we all caught your
I think what he just said was Stockpile did a really bad job tonight. He needs to come better next week.
All right. Try to talk again, Cuff. See if we can get you better here. Loud and clear.
So Geneseo, great win by them. And I remember saying at the beginning of the year that it was going to be Quincy and Moline. That game was going to decide the Big Six. Now I think it's obviously Geneseo, Quincy. Quincy I still think has the upper edge, but Geneseo was really impressive. They're a well-rounded team. Offense, defensive, they're very solid on both sides of the ball.
Awesome. Dazzo, thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard not to stay in the Western Big Six, but I think it's the story tonight is that Geneseo, we all kind of thought they were going to be pretty good, and they're in that upper echelon. See how high up in that upper echelon they can get to. But yeah, super impressed with what they did and excited to see what they can do in the next couple weeks as well. And then for me also, like, I hadn't for Morrison to do what they did tonight after what they did last week was impressive because there was no letdown. I mean, you sometimes beat the number 1 ranked team in the state, the way they do it and all that kind of stuff. And you may be let down this week. And for them to be even more impressive this week, maybe than last week is kind of exciting to see how good Morrison can end up being. So I think those are the 2 big ones that I took from from week 3 of the high school football season. And the fact that we're already a third of the way through the high school football season is just weird to me. Like, it goes by so stinking fast every year.
Yeah. It is crazy how fast it feels like it goes no matter every year. I will kind of piggyback off of your thoughts on the Three Rivers. I'm just really fascinated to see how both sides of the conference, both divisions shake out, because you still got Princeton and Kewanee left on the schedule, which we talked about earlier. You still got, Rock Ridge and Morrison and Orion and Sherrard kind of all in that mix there. I think that there's just a lot of intriguing matchups down the way that I'm excited to see it play out. Mitch, thoughts?
I'll go to the Lincoln Land. Looking at it now, you've got 4 teams that are 3-0. So quite a bit left to shake out there. I think there's a lot of good matchups still to be had. Knoxville's looked good. I don't think we talked about Knoxville enough. That was a good win over Princeville tonight. So, I think some teams are kind of starting to separate themselves, but they haven't played each other yet. So, a lot can still happen in the Lincoln Land.
Stock, what time you going to be on the road up in the morning to?
About 5, I'll get up, and about 5:30, 5:45. Me and Mother Stockpile will make the trip to beautiful Ames, Iowa, to see Iowa State beat the State University of Iowa 16-14 for the second straight year. The Cyclones will bring home the victory.
I didn't ask for all of that, but
hopefully there will not be the rain like there was last year. Last year was like a monsoon.
Thank you, Stocking, for filling us all in, and safe travels. You're going to get less sleep than I do, Stock, and you don't even have kids waking you up. You're waking up on your own to go to that.
No, I have an alarm clock. That helps.
But here's the thing, because it is almost 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning. The game's not till 2:30.
Yeah.
Why not sleep in a little bit?
Yeah, get parking
Are you parking in Des Moines and walking to Ames?
No, the traffic in Ames is always difficult. Same thing when it's in Iowa City. The traffic is a monster.
Yes.
So I want to get there, and last week there were a lot of problems with people getting in. So I usually get, when the gates open, I get in early, right when the gates open, so that way I can watch the kickers kick. So that way when it gets late in the game, I know whether the kickers can make that long field goal or not, because what they did in the pregame. Maybe the guy can't hit 50.
That has nothing to do with what they're going to do in the game.
Huh?
Has nothing to do with what they do in the game. Their warm-ups has nothing to do with what they will do in the game. It's a different situation.
They always talk about it on TV.
But Stockpile, not to be, but like you could do all that and still leave at 9 o'clock.
If I leave at 9 o'clock, I won't see kickoff.
Stock, how come Camille didn't want to ride with you and Mama Stocking to the game?
Well,
he's leaving at 5 a.m.
I don't make those calls.
Did you offer to have her ride along with you guys?
No, I did not.
Why does Mother Stockpile hate Camille?
She doesn't.
That's good.
Oh man, Mitch, what's on the docket? For the Stormer weekend.
Various soccer and volleyball games all weekend, so it'll be pretty busy.
Is this are you athletic director duties or just dad duties?
No, these are and it's president now, by the way.
Oh, did we know that Mitch is a very important person? What are you, president? President of what?
What are you doing? Yeah.
Booster president at the school.
Man, big time.
We already knew Mitch was a very important person, because I think you were looking around Morrison for a statue of Mitch Stormer in his heyday as Morrison quarterback.
I did not find the statue. I look for it every time.
Yeah, they buried it, never to be seen again.
The one thing is, you got a lot of teams now. We're 3 games in. You got teams that are 3-0. They're 2 games away from being eligible, for being playoff eligible. conversely, those teams that are 0-3 are in a very difficult position because they have to win. They almost have to win out. And next week you've got a lot of strong games, a lot of rivalry games, and I think you could see a lot of games that are going to be well played, fiercely fought, and also I think you could see some upsets.
Oh, he's calling
obvious.
What?
Hey, Stockpile, if Iowa State wins tomorrow, will you and Mother Stockpile shut down Ames tomorrow night?
No, we're going to no. As soon as the game gets over, we're going to be walking back to the car, and hopefully we won't have to wait 75 minutes to move more than a half mile.
I like it, Stock.
All right. It's gonna be fun. And truth be told, the only reason I believe that Mitch became a Booster Club president is so he had the authority to pick uniforms for multiple teams.
That's brilliant.
That's a smart man right there.
Yep.
He doesn't argue it.
Yeah,
yep.
no.
That's it.
Hey, if they put a webcam in Stocking's car tomorrow, would you watch it? I would.
Yeah, I think I would.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Stock, what do you think? Charge subscriptions?
Huh?
Okay, he's
We're not putting a webcam in the car.
Okay.
All right. Say good night, Stock.
So long, everybody.